Hey, hi. Can you hear me?
Hi, hi. Yes, I can hear you. I hope you can hear me as well.
Finally.
Yeah,
Yeah,
finally.
loud
Oh
and
gosh.
clear. How are you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm good.
How are you?
Yeah,
So good to see you.
I'm good. Yes, so good to see you. It's been
Hope you are
so long.
healthy and safe.
Yes, I am. I hope you are too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so glad that you could
Yeah,
join
yeah,
us.
absolutely.
As I've said before in the poster, Suyash is a doctor turned diplomat. So, it's a really wonderful and unusual combination. And I'm sure that a lot of people are interested in hearing, including me, about, how you started your journey as a doctor and why did you decide to, become a diplomat and join the Indian Foreign Service. So can you please tell us a little bit about your journey from your childhood till now?
Okay, first of all, everybody who's here, thank you for joining and giving me this opportunity. Initially, I had no plans of taking the UPSC or becoming a diplomat. That there are a lot of flaws in the system, and they could only be corrected if you are part of that system. Otherwise, when you're sitting outside, you can only complain and expect people to do something. But if you want things to change, you have to take the leadership, the ownership, and be a part of that system to bring about some change. I I wouldn't say that if you are an officer, you would be able to do a lot of changes at once, or it might take some time, but then you have that chance, you have that opportunity. So that was the whole thing. So when I had started my journey, I had IAS in mind, of course, like every other aspirant. I wanted to be an IAS officer, but one major reason is because from where I come, I had never seen a diplomat. I had never, read about them or the work they do. I knew that there are ambassadors, there are embassies, and our foreign ministry. Not just ours, foreign ministries across the world. They work in coordination and they work on really important issues. So that was the basic idea that I had back then. But the kind of impression one has, especially in the peripheral regions, when one comes across an IAS or an IPS, it has a profound influence, especially on the younger population. So even I was influenced by that, and I always wanted to be. When I started my journey, I'd wanted to be an IAS officer. But later on I realized that based upon my interest, based upon what I plan to do for the country, and the kind of conditions that exist in different services, I made an informed choice that okay, maybe I'd be able to work more as an IS officer, but the kind of work I wish to do for our country, I think IFS suits me better, both on a personal and a professional level. So that's why I decided that maybe I should think of becoming a diplomat. And I think it's important that we don't see ourselves in silos. We don't compartmentalize
Definitely.
ourselves. That's the biggest mistake that we do, especially uh, before coming to the service and also after that. We just think of us as, uh, you know, um, being enclosed in certain boxes or certain frame, and we are supposed to do the kind of work that is being done already, or the kind of mandate that we have. But I think if we think out of that box and try to coordinate with each other at a level that has not been done before, I think overall India would benefit. So I think
Definitely.
that way, both foreign service or IAS or IPS, whatever service it is, if there is a good coordination, that helps. So that was the whole plan, and I started my journey and luckily got through.
That's great, Suyash. I mean, that's really interesting. So, what would you tell people, those who are slightly inclined towards the foreign services? Because I also get a lot of questions about how do you decide whether you want to choose the IES or, whether you want to give your first preference to the foreign service. So, how would you suggest aspirants choose which one they should give their preference to?
Right. It's a very important question because most of the aspirants, they are swayed by perks, privileges, and all the good things that they see. That's what I keep telling all my followers or everyone who asks me, that don't go by what we post on our Instagram,
Yeah,
or Facebook, or in the what's in the news, because that's not the complete truth, right? Every job has its pros and cons, and so they should make an informed choice. Nowadays it's really easy to get they have that access, right? They have the information is available, so they can uh, Google it, or get in touch with some officers and ask them whatever doubts they have. Of course, we can't reply to every question. It becomes very difficult. But then even we try, right? We try to give out as much
definitely.
information honestly as much as we can. So that's what they should do. And regarding the question between, choosing between the services, I think for any UPSC aspirant, IAS has to be the default choice. And I say that with being an IFS officer, I would say that even if they do not have any information, I think IAS has to be the default choice, because UPSC gives you that opportunity to work for the people, and no other service, provides you that much exposure as the administrative service. So if they do not have any information, if they are confused, I think IAS could be their first choice. But they should have information and knowledge and awareness about the other services. And if they think that the other services have certain advantages, or if they suit these, if they suit their ambitions or their personality, maybe they could go for the other services as well. So if one likes, the kind of job that the police service does, they could go for that service. If they want to have a global exposure, if they want to work at a global level, or they want to bring in best practices to travel and all, so they could choose the foreign service, and so on and so forth. So if they are confused, it's IAS. If they have gained all the information, and if they think that a particular service suits them, I think they should go for the foreign service, or whichever service they like.
That was really helpful, Suyash. So can you just elaborate a little bit on, the work, the functions of an IFS? Because to us also and to normal people, it seems like a very glamorous job, because, what we tend to imagine is that there are a lot of parties, with, different cultures, different people, you travel a lot, and, it seems more fun. So, what are the aspects which you want to tell us, which we don't know much about, and which will be really helpful for those who want to join the service?
Yeah. Yeah, so people tend to believe that IFS is all fun, there is traveling and all musty and stuff. And I'd like to say that they are right. There is a lot of fun. It's a wonderful service.
I
Yes,
knew it. Oh
and
my God, I feel so bad.
yeah. Actually, I mean, but people shouldn't take it for that reason. That is what I had
Yeah,
meant before when I said that they should have
yeah.
IAS as their default choice. I mean, that is where you could actually contribute. If you're coming from a peripheral region, you could actually go and work over there, right?
Hmm.
Work for the betterment of the people directly.
Yeah.
But if IFS suits you, like I made an informed choice, I thought maybe this service suits me better. And I'll tell you the reasons why I made that choice. But once you make that choice, I think the government takes really good care of you. The service itself is so dynamic. There are so many things happening, and you learn a lot. You get to meet new people. You keep traveling to many cities, not just in the developed world, but also in the developing world. So you have a wide range of exposure, and therefore it is never boring, right?
Yeah.
And you have so many opportunities. The kind of people you meet from different backgrounds, the kind of impact they are having in their own particular regions, it's so inspiring. It's good to learn. And yes, there are parties, and in the IFS, that's how we work. We work at our parties. That's where you get all the information, get things done in a more informal setting. So yes, it's fun, and people who would want to live this kind of a life should join the foreign service then. I mean, you are anyway serving India.
Mm-hmm.
Just the settings are different.
Yeah,
So yes,
exactly. And if you want to serve India
I'm
as
enjoying
well
it.
as
I
have
mean,
fun,
and
yeah, having fun, then definitely.
yeah, and for me it was the first choice. So for me it was no dilemma, no question. But there are people who have IAS as their first choice, IFS as their second, and they end up getting the foreign service because of a lower rank.
Mm-hmm.
And the question, the dilemma still remains. So they used to ask this even during our training days, and not even a single person. We had ambassadors, we had dignitaries from all over the world coming and telling us about the service. Not even a single person said that he regretted taking this service, or the kind of experiences they have. If you just look at their career profile,
Mm-hmm.
the kind of places they have been to, I mean, it's just amazing.
Yeah.
Almost every continent, they just go there, learn, and come back and contribute. I think it's a wonderful opportunity.
Yeah. I think I've also noticed that since the foreign service is a, smaller number has got smaller number of personnel, it's more, well knitted. It's like a family. It actually functions like a family. And is it true that it's actually less hierarchical than, say the IAS or the, police service for that matter, where, we have this very strict seniority engineer hierarchy. So I've heard that it's not that prevalent in the foreign service, So can you just tell us a little bit if it's there or not?
Yeah, absolutely true. Yeah, I mean, I'm really glad that we have this culture in our service. There is no saying sir or ma'am, like 5 years seniors, 5 years juniors. No, we are like colleagues, and we are treated as one with respect. There is so much freedom. We can go and talk to them directly and share our ideas, and also that way it's a wonderful opportunity, and I think that's how it should be. I think we
Yeah.
are still stuck in the colonial mindset कि
Mm-hmm.
एक दिन भी senior है so you have to call me a sir or a ma'am, you know. So I personally don't like that. Why do we need to call somebody a sir? Are we knights or what? I mean, you could you could have that respect.
Yes.
It doesn't mean that if only if you say or call sir or you have a certain hierarchy that you have respect. No, I mean, if you are doing your work honestly, promptly, and with efficiency, people do respect you, and there's no need for such hierarchies. What it does is it kind of suffocates initiatives lower down the order. If juniors have certain ideas, because UPSC selects such bright students, they have good ideas, they have uh, many things to contribute, but because of this hierarchy, there's no opportunity for such ideas to transfer up the ladder.
Yes.
So it becomes really difficult. And when you have a very friendly atmosphere at work, then things move really in a smoother way.
Yeah.
That being said, as in every service, there are some people who would want to enforce that hierarchy. There are others who are more liberal minded and who want a more friendly atmosphere also in the foreign service. So there are both kinds of people, but all in all, in the foreign service, I think it comes the closest amongst all the government service. I think it comes the closest to a good corporate culture. I mean, in terms of efficiency, in terms of friendly atmosphere at work, I think. Yeah, and this is one thing that the other services
Mm.
should adapt. Some certain services, like I think the police service or the military, need a hierarchy in order to maintain
Yes.
that discipline. So there it's
Mm-hmm.
understood. But in the other services, I think it should be more friendly.
Definitely. Suyash, I also wanted to ask, like, you have chosen German as your, language. So you're learning a whole new language, How is it like? Is it difficult? And, what are the reasons why? I mean, how do people choose the language they want to, specialize in? I've heard like that Chinese is one of the most, favored, most preferred
Preferred
language. So
languages, yeah.
is it because we see China as a really rising power, or in what matter. So does it make any difference to your career, or depending on the language you choose, or does it mean that since you have learned German, you'll only be posted in Europe? So what is the reason behind it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So what happens is, based upon our UPSC ranks, we also have a foreign service ranking, like where we stand in the
Okay.
foreign service. So my UPSC rank was 56, and my foreign service rank was third
Mm.
in our years. So I was the third in the foreign service rankings. And every year we have vacancies in different missions based upon languages. So certain languages are offered. For example, the common ones are Chinese, Japanese, Arabic, Russian, German, French, Spanish. These languages are offered almost every year. Uh, but then there are certain other languages which are offered based upon the vacancies. You could have Sinhalese, you could have Burmese, you could have Turkish, Korean, Hebrew. So the availability of these languages depends on
Mm.
the vacancies. And based upon your rank, if you have a good rank, you have a choice. You could choose whichever language you want. And lower down the rankings, you have to choose, or you get whatever is left. So, does it impact your career? I think yes and no, both. In the short term, yes, because uh, you get a different, the start, the beginning, it differs. I mean, me starting off in Europe, I have different exposure as compared to someone doing it in, say, China, or say in Arabic countries, say Egypt, somewhere else. So initially, yes, it kind of impacts you. You also tend to compare. There are comparisons. So that way, comparisons not just in terms of the standard of living, but also in terms of the difficulty of the language and uh, other opportunities that you have in those particular regions. So that way, initially, yes, it might impact, but overall, in the long run, I don't think language matters so much as your work. You could have any language as your CFL. We call it CFL, compulsory
Okay.
foreign language. So every foreign service officer has to learn one language, you know, and that is mandatory. Next time, if he's posted in some other language region, he may or may not choose
Mm-hmm.
to learn it. It's not
Okay.
compulsory. But one language stays with him. He has to learn it. So whatever your CFL is, if you work hard and wherever you are posted after your first posting, if you work hard, you make an impact. You kind of help our policies and our ministry and our people, then your career progression, I think, depends upon that rather than the language. So just having Chinese as your language or German as your language doesn't guarantee a very good career. You have to perform, you have to work. And people choose certain languages like Chinese, French, German, of course, Russian. These are the preferred languages because these countries are very important, in international
Yes.
relations, in geopolitics. They have a major role to play. And for India also, they are important. You know that China is
Yeah.
everywhere these days. China has risen, is rising even more. So it becomes important for India, and it's a neighbor, so neighboring countries are
Mm-hmm.
always important. India, we have this neighborhood
Yes.
first policy. So China is the largest and the neighbor that has the biggest impact on India. And hence we need more officers, more efficient officers in China. And that's how it is. I mean, most of the toppers have been taking Chinese as their CFL. I chose German because I wasn't, it was based upon my interest. I was more interested in learning the Western languages than an
Okay.
Oriental language. And I was also always fascinated by Europe. So, I mean, we
Yeah.
all are, aren't we? So, and this was my chance. I had a good rank. I could choose any language. So I
Yes.
exercised my choice and I took German. And German because Germany is a country that has fascinated me since my childhood. All we know about Germany is the World War and what happened,
Mm-hmm.
what they did, and all. But there's so much more to this country. I mean, today, Germany is the country that is driving the European
Yeah.
economy, right? It's the economic powerhouse. And it does not derive its strength from its colonial legacy. You know, there are certain world powers that still kind of indirectly exploit their erstwhile colonies and have that influence. But Germany doesn't do that. It derives its strength from within. It has a very robust economic system, educational system, and all, and it's very fascinating. And there is so much to learn for us from Germany. The way the values in Germany, the way the people work. We all have heard about German
Yes.
discipline and
Work ethic.
punctuality.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm seeing it
Mm-hmm.
firsthand. Yeah, so it always fascinated me, and hence I thought of choosing German. And the language, yes, it is difficult, but it is very interesting. It is
Okay.
very crisp, clear, like most
Mm-hmm.
Indian languages, and the Germans speak what they write and write what they speak. So that way it becomes easy.
That's wonderful. You've been living in Berlin, right, for almost a year now. I think more than a
Hmm.
year, actually. So, have you traveled in other
Hmm.
parts of Germany and Europe? What are the fascinating aspects of the life of the city, which you feel that we can imbibe in India as well? And how has generally been the experience of living abroad? And you miss home food, you get Indian food there as well. I'm sure you do. So what has the general experience been? How are the people? Are they friendly? You know?
By the way, I've learned cooking.
Oh,
I do miss Indian food, and this has forced me to learn
okay.
cooking. I wouldn't say I'm good at it, but yeah, can't
That's
help it.
great.
So to begin with, yes, initially when I came to Germany, it was difficult. It's a completely different culture. The people, the languages, everything is the language. I mean, um, the working culture, everything is different. So it is difficult. The weather, I had never imagined weather to have such a profound impact on our mood, our work efficiency, and all, but it does. So it was winter last year, and for weeks I couldn't see
Oh,
sunlight. So it was a bit depressing. And it rains, it's windy, it's cold. European winters are the worst. So so it has an impact on you, and especially on us coming
warm
from
tropical
a
country.
blessed country, a warm tropical country. So for us it's really difficult. It's, can't even imagine staying without sun for so long. In India, if there's one cloudy day, we all
Yeah,
rejoice. Aaj acha mausam hai, let's have some coffee, let's chill or go out with friends and all. But if you have that for like months, it becomes
I
kind of
can
depressing.
imagine.
So yeah. So have you heard of the German series
Yes,
Dark?
yes, I binge watched on it. Yes,
Yeah.
it's crazy and
Yeah, it's
complex,
awesome,
but
right?
amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. That is when I realized why they named it Dark. Because it's always dark in winter.
Even the TV show, it's always like bleak.
So, exactly. So it was difficult initially, but then you get used to it, right? You make
Hmm.
friends, you kind of start speaking a few words in German, that helps. And Germans are straightforward, they are serious people, but they are awesome friends. Once you have a German friend, you have him for life. That's what they say. They're really trustworthy people. So when you make friends here, and also Berlin is very cosmopolitan because it's a world class city, but the prices are not as high as say New York or
Okay.
London. So, and the German education system is
Hmm.
free, so it attracts a lot of
Okay.
students. So there are a lot of students from all over the world. So I've made friends from, I think, every
Okay.
continent, from Latin America to
Oh,
Japan,
so the
everywhere.
university is completely
So it
free,
was
even
so
for
much.
people who come from outside. I
Yeah.
mean, even international
Yeah.
students. Oh,
Yes. In most universities, there's no tuition fee, especially in the public
okay.
universities. Or it's
All
very
right.
nominal.
That's wonderful. Yeah.
So that's an advantage. It's amazing the way they have structured the education system. It's amazing. So initially it was difficult, but then I made friends, got used to the whole system. Then I started feeling more comfortable. And then comes spring and summer. It's the best place to be in summer. I'm telling you. Next summer, you guys have to come to me
Yeah,
here in
definitely.
Germany. I mean, the
I
ideal
wanted to
job would
come this
be
year. I
one that
wanted to
allows
come
us.
this year, but because of COVID. Oh.
Yeah, COVID. So I'm going to come to that
Mm-hmm.
point also. So I was saying that the best job possible would be the one that allows us to be in India in the winters and in Germany or in Europe
Yeah.
in summers. So I hope the ministry allows us
Yeah,
to
just
do
to let us
that.
swap like
We
for
would
a
be more
few,
efficient, you know?
years.
Exactly. And I had all my plans set for the summer,
Mm-hmm.
travel plans, because winters are
Mm-hmm.
really harsh. So, but they are tolerable. I mean, we have been in
Yes.
Masuri, right, for
Uh-huh.
our training
Mm-hmm.
during the winter, and I think I mean, it's almost similar. It didn't
Mm-hmm.
snow here, so it was cold, but they have good systems, central heating
Okay.
and all, so they are quite prepared for
Mm-hmm.
their winters. So it's not uncomfortable. It's dark, but not uncomfortable, and especially during Christmas time. I mean, this place is totally
Okay.
different. You have to see
Must be
this, experience
magical,
this.
yeah.
Germany or Europe. Oh, totally. It's like a Disney movie or something everywhere. Yeah. And so then came
Mm-hmm.
COVID-19, and it just ruined all the plans. So all our travel
Yeah.
plans were cancelled, and so we couldn't travel much in
Mm-hmm.
summer. Although I've been to a few places like Hamburg, I've been to Paris
Okay.
also to meet our
Okay.
batchmates, and it was
I'm
fun.
sure it was.
But now I have all my plans set. So for my first posting, so 1 year is our
Mm-hmm.
language training. So this was my
Mm-hmm.
language training. So I've completed that. I had my exams recently, and now I have my I'll be heading for my first posting, and that is in
All right.
Munich. So I'll be going to Munich
Oh,
this
okay.
week.
Already you've got your
Yes,
posting.
uh,
Congratulations. Hmm.
yes, thank you. And I'll be there for almost three
Okay.
years. So Munich is the Munich lies in Bavaria, which is a very popular
Mm-hmm.
German state. All the German stereotypes, most of them, come from that state.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, and it's very scenic, very beautiful, nestled in the Alps. So, and it's very close to all the beautiful countries, the other countries, you know, Austria,
Mm-hmm.
Switzerland, France. It's on the border. So I'm pretty excited about it, and I have a lot of plans to travel, explore, learn, and share with
I'm
you
sure
guys.
that it sounds so wonderful. Do you also come back to India? I've heard that foreign officers come back to India for the postings once in a while. So when does that happen?
Mhm. So once a year, like we take 30 days, we have 30 days
Okay.
leave. So once a year, we are almost almost every year, we are back in India for about 2 weeks, three
Mm-hmm.
weeks, 4 weeks. And then whenever it permits, if there's less work or if we have certain function or emergency or whatever, we can take our own leave and come back to India. But generally, I think it's once or twice a year. Uh, and once in a posting, the travel is paid by the government, and the rest you have to manage on your own. But I think the government pays us pretty well, so traveling or that way it's never a
Okay.
problem. And it may seem far, but the reality is it used to take me more time to go to my native place from Missouri than from Berlin, because now everything is so well
Yeah.
connected. We have flights, and thanks to schemes like the
Mm-hmm.
Udan scheme
Mm-hmm.
of the government, we have flights to my
Yeah.
hometown as well. So even the smaller places are now well connected in India. So that way, it doesn't take me much time to reach here. So that way, it's wonderful. So whenever I get a chance, I would like to travel to India, in other parts of India as well, because I think I haven't explored India as much as I should have done. You know, Bharat Darshan and all for us, even during our training
Mm-hmm.
period, it's more of fun and less of learning. Now that we have been exposed to what the kind of work
Mm-hmm.
that we are doing, I think we should have a Bharat Darshan 2.0, in which they should allow us to visit certain places to understand and to learn, to contribute. I mean, I try that this time when I come to India. I try to travel there
Yeah,
as well.
you should. I've seen that you have taken a lot of initiatives, online as well as offline, whenever, regarding bringing about changes in India as well, things which you have learned there and want to apply here. So I hope you get to, do that. You have a long career ahead and, there's so much to do. I hope we can also help each other out, and collaborate in whatever way possible. And so nice to have you. Yeah,
Definitely,
so
yeah.
nice to have you for this Insta Live. And
Thank
thank you
you.
so much for joining in and finding time, I know it's been difficult because of the time difference as well. So thank you so much, Suyash, for joining in.
Thank you so much, and I congratulate you for this wonderful initiative. I've been following it. You bring in such amazing people, and it's so good to learn from them. And yes, as you said, we have to
Yeah.
work together. At the end, we are here
Yes.
for India. We are
Mm-hmm.
Indian officers. The foreign or administrative or police or revenue part
Yes,
is
definitely.
secondary. So, whatever I learn here, the best practices, I'm like your
Yeah.
extended arm, right? So, or your extended eyes. I get a bird's
Yeah.
eye view and I could tell it to you, and you can
Mm-hmm.
work over there at the
Mm-hmm.
ground level. So that's how we have to function. I think if India has to become a superpower, a global power, a global
Yeah.
player in the true sense, we need to learn the best practices, whatever good things are happening all
Yes.
over the world, and bring them back to
Absolutely.
India. And also be an agent that transforms our country, or makes impactful changes based upon what we learn outside. And also when you're outside, you realize that our country is so blessed. We have so many good things that we can offer, and they have not been projected the way they should have been. So we can do that
Yeah.
as well. For example, in your district, in your state, in your cadre, if you have certain good things happening, they have to be
Mm-hmm.
promoted, commercialized, and that the foreign exchange has to flow
Yeah.
back to India so as to
Mm-hmm.
develop that region, right? Tourism,
Yeah.
for example. Now, where you are working, it's such a
Yeah, it
beautiful
is.
place, but I don't think many Germans or many
Mm-hmm.
Europeans know
That's
about it.
true.
They
Mm-hmm.
should know about
Definitely
it,
they
right?
should.
And that's how people will come, and so will foreign exchange, and that's how
Mm-hmm.
development will happen.
Yeah.
So we'll do it. We'll do it together. There are so
Yes.
many plans. We'll have to make another video for all the
Definitely.
plans
Yeah.
and things we are
Mm-hmm.
trying to do. But
Yeah.
we'll do that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for
Yeah.
having me here. And thank you to all your subscribers and all your followers for
Yeah.
bearing with me. And thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks a
Bye,
lot.
Suyash. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye. Take care.